I think especially as Aboriginal artists, our truth is what makes us who we are in our culture and our spirituality. And that truth resonates into the community.
Mob or Jarjum, that's tomorrow's children, because all we do is for them, really. And if they can get these words, get the pronunciation of it correct, they can then start using it in daily life, and they do.
It's relationships between mothers and fathers, between parents and children, between children and their grandparents. It's that deterioration of that family relationship and connection.
Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people can now stand with huge humility and be very proud of who we are and what we are, and the way in which we have survived.
Welcome again to Beyond the Boundary Road. I'm Fred Leone.
And I'm Mandanara Bales. On this episode, we'll be having an exclusive chat about Open Doors Youth Service. As an organisation that started over a decade ago, Open Doors provides counselling and support services for lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgendered LGBT young people living in southeast Queensland.
And we're very fortunate to be joined by Rocky Malone, the coordinator of Open Doors, and she's here to talk with us a bit more about it. Welcome to the show, Rocky.
Cheers, thanks for having me.
So I might start with, who's your mob?
So my mob's in Rockhampton, so we're Dromble. So my nan's from Rockhampton, my granddad's from Cherbourg.
Yeah, deadly.
So could you tell us about a little bit about Open Doors, but how you got involved?
Yep. Open Doors supports LGBT young people aged 12 to 24. We're primarily funded through FAXIA, Department of Families, Housing, Community Services and Indigenous Affairs, to support young people 12 to 18 who might be homeless or at risk of homelessness or disengaging from school and their families. I guess Open Doors opened about 10 or 12 years ago now. I actually went to the opening of the service, so that was, a long time ago, so I'm getting old now. But yeah, I was there for your initial opening, and then I guess just worked with them over the years, and then a position came up probably about 6 years ago as a youth and family support worker, and I applied for it, and now I'm been there too long.
When you began at Open Doors, how many young people were involved in it compared to today?
I think our numbers have really increased. I think because there's a lot more awareness for LGBT young people out there, and I think it's really hard to say because been there for such a long time. But we had, in our last financial year, we probably would have had 2,000 young people through our door, and that doesn't include young people outside of the southeast Queensland area. So we support a lot of young people through Facebook, Skype, email, phone. We have clients up at Torres Strait Islands, Cherbourg, Kingaroy, Rockhampton. So, that's a lot of young people across the state.
That is deadly.
And what are the main challenges that Indigenous LGBT communities face compared to your mainstream LGBT communities?
I think it's because I think that LGBT Indigenous community is also very hidden. I think within the LGBT community as a whole, and I think also there could be a lot of lack of services. I guess there's only a few support groups for LGBT Indigenous people. I mean, we've got the Two Spirits program who support gay men and sister girls. They're a statewide program. You also have an Indigiles, which is your Indigenous lesbian support group. So that's just a social support group. And you also have your men's group, Gabunjalan. So they're a men's specific support group as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's good to see there's a few other services there, isn't it?
Yeah.
In general, do you think there's much of a culture difference between the mainstream LGBT community and the Indigenous LGBT?
Especially with the young people that we get into the service, I mean, I think they really struggle with their, Indigenous identity, but then their LGBT as well. So it's that kind of thing where they kind of feel like they kind of don't fit in. They're walking on that line of being from two different communities as well. I think they really struggle with that. And also because, the Indigenous community are very hidden in the LGBT community. So it's that thing of trying to link them in with everyone, I guess, and creating that family within the LGBT community.
Yeah, that's very, very important because with suicide rates especially, like young people don't get the support or feel like they can talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Feel like there's nowhere to turn to, so it's really important.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And we're talking about Open Doors, the workshops that you run. There's one called Queer.
Yep.
Could you tell us a little bit about that workshop?
So Queer was developed probably, I guess, when I first started working at Open Doors. We didn't have many Indigenous young people coming through, but then I think, you know, when they all knew I was there, they all started to kind of come in as well. So that was done with Arnie Dawn Daylight. We sat down and tried to kind of work out a program where we could be all inclusive of every culture, but base it along the yarning circles and the respect, and, you know, have those kind of the Indigenous rules that run the group. So that's really good. So we have, I guess, your Whawhawhine young people, which is a Samoan transgendered young people, they attend. We have young asylum seekers that attend from maybe, you know, Somalia or, you know, places like that, but also with the, you know, Chinese and the white young people, and everyone just comes together and then they get to learn that cultural way, and they also get workshops from Indigenous workers that teach them about, I guess, you know, hepatitis C in the Indigenous community and things like that. So, and the boys come to Spirits, they cook up a big feed. We have the Indigenous PLOs that come in, and we have the elders as well. We have Uncle Tiger, no, not your Uncle Tiger, from the PCYC, Fortitude Valley, Tiger Singh, Auntie Margaret Stanley and Auntie Bessie Parsons. They come in and hang out with the young people, do some artwork, you know, tell them stories, do some music, things like that. So, yeah.
Is that a regular thing, that yarning circle?
Yeah, well, we try to do it pretty much once every couple of months. But, you know, they go along to NAIDOC. The young people go to ACPA and hang out with the kids there and go to their performances. So we've got that really strong relationship where we want them all just to be one, you know, no barriers at all.
Yeah, that's
so.
it. Any other organisations that you've collaborated with in the past?
Yep. So I guess you've got ACON in Sydney, which is kind of like
Not
AIDS.
the rapper.
Yeah.
No,
I wish. No. So in Sydney, they've got an Indigenous Pacific, I guess, LGBT service with ACON.
Yeah.
I think it's the AIDS Council of New South Wales. I think that's what they're called. We also I've been speaking to the Northern Territory, trying to help them set up an LGBT support group up there. You know, we talked to South Australia. There's a big group of LGBT Indigenous people down there. They do a lot of performances and make movies and things like that. So, yeah, there are a few around, and we try to catch up, I guess, when we're at a big conference or something, you know.
Yeah.
So.
And Open Doors has been around for a decade, you know, over a decade now. Where would you like to see the program go, say, you know, in the next 10 years?
Yep. It's such a hard question. I would like to be out of a job, I think. I would just like for everyone to be inclusive, and that we don't need Open Doors Youth Service, that everyone's supported without discrimination for anything, you know. That would be a great thing to see in an ideal world, but yeah. But hopefully still there and supporting everyone.
Yeah. So if there's anybody out there that's struggling to come out or accept themselves for who they are, is there any advice that you could give them, or where could they find some more information?
So I guess it's a hard thing. It's a really hard thing to go through. I mean, I even know I went through it in my own, you know, coming out in my own sexuality, is that you do feel like there's something wrong with you and that, you know, you're evil and you're horrible. You know, it's just that it isn't as bad as what people think it is. I think it's just that stereotype that you get, you know, that if you're gay, they're going to get bashed and they're going to have a horrible life. But I just would recommend people to talk to someone, and, you know, even if you don't turn out to be LGBT or gay, then that's okay, you know. If you come and see us, even if you're straight, we don't mind, you know. We're not going to kick you out because you're not gay. We support everyone basically as much as we can. I guess the best thing would be to go to our website. We have a lot of information on there. We have, especially for young people, around coming out. You know, when you're questioning your identity or even your gender identity if you're transgender. So, yeah, that'd be a good place to start. And there's also kind of some telephone counselling places, you know, ring Lifeline or the Gay and Lesbian Welfare Association hotline, things like that.
Yeah, deadly. And what's your website for anybody interested?
Yeah,
we'll put it up on the screen down the bottom.
Yeah, www.opendoors.net.au.
Deadly.
Excellent.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you so much for coming on the show
drama.
today
Thank you very much.
sharing with us what you do and your passion, and hopefully, you know, young people out there that are watching might be able to get involved with the workshops or even jump online. Find us on Facebook.
Yep, definitely on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube.
Yeah, deadly. All right, yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
That's it for this segment of Beyond the Boundary Road.